My name is Jeff Coyle. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer for MarketMuse. And today's discussion is going to be covering the product and marketing alliance, how to build conversion rate optimization into your product roadmap. Conversion rate optimization doesn't just happen one time and in one place on your site, in your application. It happens all the time. And the biggest challenge that we often see is that product teams, development teams, and marketing teams aren't aligned on what it means to convert. All the ways that there is parts and parcels of the buyer journey every time someone's making a decision that, yes, I want to do something more. Yes, I want to convert. Yes, I want to become a loyal champion of your business. Those are conversion rate moments. And the quicker we can get aligned as product teams, marketing teams, and development teams, the quicker we can start to put us on a path of getting more wins more often. The traditional funnel is used as a framework to guide content and experiences on the web, in the applications that you build, in platform and in desktop versions of things. Oftentimes we're building out traditional funnels: awareness, interest, consideration, evaluation, purchase, and advocacy and retention and adherence. But the reality is that product is often introduced way too late into this funnel. The product team is often not involved in brand awareness campaigns, interest generation campaigns, even in more advanced marketing teams with ABM capabilities, consideration, content creation, content strategy, search engine optimization, and lead development, lead management, demand generation. Oftentimes, we're just involving the product team in that last stage, the last stage of where somebody's signing up, because that is oftentimes the only place where there's actually development resources needed in some more advanced teams. We've got to change that game. We've got to make it so that the product teams and the development teams understand all the points of conversion and can get involved, so those experiences can be more seamless. They can be more educational in the early stage. They can have some more features, potentially more functionality and more flow after someone does convert into the solution. And the punchline here is that that last funnel we looked at isn't the reality. There's so much more that happens. Buyers' journeys are extremely complex, and as there's more resources out there on the web, there's more resources out there, there's more people talking, there's more communities, there's more user-generated content, data sets. The customer's journey and the buyer journey becomes even more complex. Just look at this graph from Gartner in 2019. You can see that a problem identification in connection to business issues, solution exploration, and evaluation to go to a requirements building endeavor and then decide on that shortlist development and that decision making. These are the buyer journeys pre-purchase that we have often no product involvement on many teams. They're building it as the marketing site. How are we making sure that the message is communicated across all of our assets, across all the screens that our buyers, that our customers see or will see, unless we're part of that discussion? So understanding your buyer journey, everyone on the product team, everyone on the development team needs to understand that buyer journey and understand what commonly happens when people are purchasing the offering. It's not just about customer interviews. It's not just about customer interviews that are champions. It's not just about churn interviews. It's about understanding all steps of the funnel, getting feedback throughout that experience, and also doing education and awareness for your development team, who maybe doesn't even think that's part of their job, to understand explicitly how people are getting to us. What are their personas? Who are they? What decisions do they go forth? What referrals are happening to your site that maybe you need to change the way that you communicate and build your product as a result, because it's leading to higher conversion rates. If everyone who becomes a customer is referred by one consideration-based or user-generated content site, wow, you better make sure that your product is tuned for that audience. The last thing is, this isn't the only part of that journey. There's in-application journey, there's adherence, there's retention, there's upgrades, there's cross-sell, there's upsell paths that often are already part of the product discussion, but in a lot of cases get dropped from the marketing discussion. So this two-way street, is your obligation to turn us into a more conversion rate optimization focused product and marketing alliance. They're not linear. It doesn't just happen one time. What's preventing these users from purchasing, from upgrading? Oftentimes we see teams where the purchasing part is processed through finance. It's done through a subscription SaaS offering. It's done through an in-house authorization type experience. And there isn't much flexibility. There isn't much involvement from product. There isn't much careful consideration from the marketing teams. But if you make it hard for someone to give you money, you're cutting your legs off. Purchasing, upgrading, reaching maturity. They're taking the tasks that often lead to us knowing the signals that lead users to make the next purchase or to retain and renew with a lot less customer success involvement. And virality, celebration, champion creation is a product and a marketing alliance goal. Those two teams need to be in lockstep as to how somebody can tell the world about your offering and make sure that those experiences are seamless throughout usage, throughout retention, throughout upgrading, even before or after they make the decision to grow in their purchase patterns with your site. So how do you make it easy for users to adopt your product before they become customers? This is also a big piece. If you have a freemium component, if you have an experience that has a trial, if you have an experience on your site that emulates the post-purchase experience. First of all, they better be similar. Second, you better be in lockstep as to what you need to build, where in the journey these people are. Are they only just recently gone from, I had no idea who you are, to basic awareness? Or do they have clarity on their business issue and the business issue that your solution solves? And does that experience connect with them? Or are they late in the funnel? They're evaluating you against multiple other vendors. And they're saying, okay, I'm comparing these factors, these features, and this path to value is clear. Conversion rate optimization isn't just getting people to click and put their name into a lead form. Change that inside your organization. It's the most common misconception. It's not just dropping a lead. It's enabling somebody to clearly understand how your solution will deliver them value. How quickly can you get to that path to value? And that product team lead, the marketing team lead need to spend all of their time ensuring that everyone is on the same page. Until they're not, then you can spend time on other things. All right, so now how do you communicate these things? I love to communicate them as aha moments. Aha moments, and then analysis and analytics of those conversion gaps. How do you connect the dots between these two things? What are the things that your most significant champion users, your customers that retain, your customers that convert and upgrade, your customers that renew consistently, what are the things that they would have said changed the world for them by using your solution? What are those aha moments? Do you have those documented? Do you know how to connect them to the most common personas and business issues? Now, cross-reference that with everything that happens pre-purchase, everything that happens on the marketing site, on the website, on the landing pages, in the paid campaigns, in the paid social campaigns, in everything that you're doing to buy eyeballs, visitors, to be part of a G2 crowd listing, to be part of a Capterra listing, whatever the case may be. When the user lands there, where are those conversion gaps and how can you get those aha moments within that experience? How can you lead those users to know, if I go with this vendor, it will solve these business issues, it will solve these common problems based on who I am and based on the persona I have and based on where I came from and where in the purchase funnel, where in that wild buyer journey I am. By connecting the common conversion gaps, by connecting those percentages, we convert 13%. We convert 3% by this page. This is a content upgrade. This is from a nurture campaign. By combining those core gaps with aha moments, we can bring the teams together very quickly. By identifying those aha moments and exposing them through the experiences, we win more consistently. What can that take on? How can that manifest? It can manifest as education, building awareness, education for early stage, education for people who aren't as mature. They don't understand explicitly, maybe even what their business issues are. You can set these things up solely to become more of a way of getting your site found, building those aha moments, weaving them into thought leadership, weaving those into content cluster development, so that when someone reads your article or your guide to the topic that you cover, to content strategy, well, they come to the site and they see that, wow, I have challenges with content strategy. And this clearly addresses many of my core business issues. And at the same time, growing the audience, building more search engine traffic, building more other channel traffic, referral traffic. How can you expose these things into building more virality components? Whether it be simple virality concepts like share this with your friends, or exhibiting expertise and allowing you to put those things in your social media experience, or exhibiting expertise within your own company. Oftentimes purchasing isn't a one-person game, especially if you're selling something at a higher price point. So how do you turn somebody that maybe doesn't have purchase authority into an internal champion really quickly through developing and communicating these aha moments? If you get somebody who will then become an end user but can't become a buyer, how can you turn their experience pre-conversion into basically a champion development play that then allows them to elevate that to the CMO, to the CTO, and say, hey, look what I accomplished. Look what I could accomplish every day. Other people on my team could also have that experience. Virality isn't only external. It can be a viral component inside a prospect who maybe doesn't have that purchasing power. Aha moments are the path. And then time bound. Obviously, these are things where I will give you a challenging effort. I will say, if you do this, you will be successful. I will communicate these things to you in a nurturing capacity. I will give them to you in other time-bound elements so that you say, wow, I was successful. I received this aha moment. Whoa, they're solving another problem. I did this. I know I can do that. By exposing these users to these things, you can turn them into conversion rate vehicles. You take a step back and say, within your organization, does the product team and the marketing team and the development team all understand all of these aspects? Are they all communicating to one another when projects come up? Or is this just marketing creating another landing page? Or is this just somebody in customer support updating your implementation of your support software package? Oftentimes we see those teams not communicating, and at least disjointed experiences and lower conversion rates than are possible. All right, now, how do we use our product to create credibility as well as teach that theory, teach that thought leadership? How do we use this to activate our internal experts and turn them into aha moment generators? Great examples of this where the product team and the marketing team can align: certifications, academies, schools, education, webinar series, all things where you can show that everyone, whether it's case studies with customers via a webinar, whether it's thought leaders who also weave in using your solution to solve common business problems, and turning those things into part of the product effectively, turning them into part of the experience one would have pre-purchase, post-purchase, and then post-activation and maturity. Can you use your product as an instructional tool for other things? Can that allow you to appeal to more personas, get in front of more common buying teams, not just that buyer, but everyone who will use the solution to really start to rev up product-led growth? How do you make this easy? Really tough. Every touch point needs to have a clear next step. No matter where they are in the buyer cycle, whether they're coming from an email newsletter, whether they're landing on a blog post, or whether they're interacting with a form on your site, a widget, or otherwise, even after they enter your SaaS application, even after they enter your solution or your web experience that's paid, all the steps need to be clear. It needs to be layered on to say, here's the next aha moment. You are at this stage of maturity, but you're not yet at that stage of maturity. How do you get aligned with marketing so that that next clear one or multiple calls to action are right in front of them, and that experience is seamless? I know I've become an expert on this one use case, but this one use case is only worth X amount of dollars to my business. I can only be expected to ramp to N MRR, ARR, if my teams are only good at this particular use case. But my persona could execute on these other 4 use cases. I just haven't become experts on them. So when I use the solution, I got my use case down. I'm slamming that out. Okay, well, maybe I'm $1,000 a month user maximum at that use case. How do I expose that user to the other 4 use cases? How do I show them how to show their team member or their boss how to take on those use cases so that when renewal time comes up, I'm a $2,000, I'm a $3,000 MRR customer? That's the way to think about conversion rate optimization. That newsletter needs to communicate to that user persona that that other use case exists, show them that other customers are having success with that, and give them guidance as to how to take that next step. Examine all of your high traffic pages, your high traffic newsletter and marketing vehicles, your high traffic pages, and say to yourself, am I clearly communicating the next call to action? Am I clearly communicating the next thing I want this user to do for them to become more mature? Or am I just enabling them to do stuff? That's the step that connects product to marketing when you're thinking about conversion rate optimization. All right, now, so fun, right? These things can be very gamified. Upgrades, excitement, incentives. It's not just a marketing promo. They're not just getting $100 off, right? Because that's not enough to drive success. You've got to make the path to upgrading one's trial, their freemium experience, for getting into an upgrade path, a must do. How do you do that? You give them all the ways that people receive emotions, love, affirmation, immediate validation and affirmation when they achieve the goals and tasks and basic use cases. Turning around experiences to say, wow, ways for them to exhibit their expertise in their community and in the groups that they care about. What are the ways that you show them, hey, you did this one thing and you got this return on investment? If you did these other things, you'd get even more return on investment. If you upgrade, life is going to be wonderful. How often are you communicating to users their aspirational value? Doesn't your marketing team know what that aspirational model looks like? Is your application delivering that dream? The dream that, in MarketMuse's case, every article you publish will be successful. Every person on your team will be writing great content every time that's equal to or better than all of your customers, all of your competitors. Everyone's content is going to get better when you work with MarketMuse on your team, when they build, when they update. Are you communicating that type of aspirational model every step when the user is making these critical decisions of whether they're going to become customers, become bigger customers, or continue to become customers? Make that exciting. Give them positive feedback. Enable them to do something and get feedback quickly that was successful. Get that time to value quick. If you can get that time to value before they even make a purchase, kudos to you. It means that you're working well together with their marketing team, building products that people will love even before they take their credit card out of their wallet or make the case for their CMO, their CTO to make a purchase. Create urgency, right? So we're talking about giving them feedback, knowing the language that they want to hear, affirmation, giving them feedback so that they can make great decisions. You've got to also create urgency though. You've got to also be able to track product usage, obviously. Tracking and communicating product usage is huge. Internally, if the marketing team doesn't know product usage data, if the customer success team, if the sales team doesn't understand product usage data, you got to catch up. Get that information easily accessible, but also show those teams how using that data can guide their processes, can guide the decisions that they make, can guide their messaging. You've also got to create urgency to drive conversion rates. So how can you get people to do the things that you know from your, whatever it is you use for analytics, whether it's Pendo or something else? How can you say, these are our best users. These are the users that stick around. These are our most mature users. These are the user patterns that those users exhibit. Okay, well, marketing needs to build campaigns that get people to do those things quickly, maybe even pre-purchase. Because if I can activate users so that they're doing those tasks, the tasks that typically a 6-month in trained, awesome, gonna renew customer are doing, I can create urgency in month 1 for that. I can create urgency pre-purchase. I'm doing something. I'm getting to time to value more quickly. I'm building customers that are going to be advocates. I'm generating virality potentially even before or just after purchase. Creating urgency for particular product usage patterns is a key. So getting aligned with marketing. What if marketing didn't even know? They never knew what a product usage pattern was that led to us saying, this is a mature customer. This is someone who's likely to renew. They weren't talking to customer success. What if marketing doesn't know that? How can they be expected to build campaigns to drive users to do those things? They can't. They're just guessing. They're saying, these are my personas. These are the messages. I'm getting them to generate leads. Now, connect the dots between those two things. I can start to build campaigns that tell the story of, here's the first 3 things that you're going to do when you buy this solution that are going to drive ROI through the roof. Why not do them right now? Why not do them today and talk to us in a few weeks? And we guarantee you're going to be successful. Creating that urgency, delivering that message, delivering ROI clearly will change the game for your conversion rate optimization opportunity. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. The Product Led Institute is an amazing organization, and we're proud to be working with them at MarketMuse. Quick take on MarketMuse. MarketMuse is a content strategy platform that drives AI augmented content automation and sets the standard for content quality. Give me an email at jeff@marketmuse.com if you're interested in a demo, and I'll set you up for success in creating content that's more successful more of the time.